My clients are an animation studio, so they do a lot of like very visual work, and I saw them use the gallery view, and I realized I hardly ever use the gallery view because a lot of my work is not as visual as theirs. So I wanted to change that because the gallery view is actually kind of cute and nice. However, if you don't have any visuals, it's kind of like pointless to use it, no? So here's my dashboard, and it's fairly clean. I'm using lists here a lot, and my projects also used to be lists, but I wanted to use the gallery view to make it a little bit more like a breaking point and a little bit more accessible. But it is kind of sad if you don't have page covers, so I wanted to automate the creation of these page covers so they can show up here. When I create a new project here, for example, for my new music track that I'm working on, you're going to see that this cover is going to come here automatically in a second. Wait for it. Time for tea. There it is. And this is awesome because then one by one we're going to have all of these covers here. So the trick is the trick is very simple. It's actually not a trick at all. It's just a matter of automation. So what starts the whole automation process is a database automation here in Notion that you can see here. It's called Automate Covers, and it triggers every time the name of the project, the name of the database item is edited. And then it sends a webhook to this address provided by make.com, and I'm sending with it only the name. That's everything we need. So if you know how webhooks work, in make.com you are creating this as a starting point, a custom webhook, and it's going to provide you the address here, and you can just take the address and copy it into your Notion database automation. So every time in Notion triggers this webhook, also this whole scenario here is going to start. As you see, the rest of the scenario is fairly simple. We're just using a couple of modules from Google Slides and from Google Drive, and then to the end we're updating our Notion database. So first of all, we want to use Google Slides. The module is called Create a Presentation from a Template. And if you've never worked with these kind of templates, it is actually fairly simple. So first of all, I'm using the title from the webhook. It's just the name. And then you want to define your presentation that serves as a template here. And mine is under my folder Templates, Notion Cover Page Template. You can see the template here actually. I used the recommended pixel size for the template, which is 1500 by 600, and I designed it and styled it in the way my CI works. So I have this like beige background and my custom font. I'm using a font size of 98 and put everything like fairly in the middle. I found was kind of a good way to do it. Sometimes it's a little bit too big, but I don't mind too much. But what you should know about these templates here in Google Slides is that these curly brackets, they signify make.com that everything in the middle here, called page title, is a variable, and this variable can be filled out with all kinds of information that we tell make.com to use. So we're going to look for the variable called page title here in make.com, and you find it here under values, page title. This is where we want to put the name of our project as provided by the webhook. Next, it was necessary to actually use the Get a Presentation module, because we need not only the presentation ID that is provided by Google Slides, but we need more information about it, and this module doesn't provided to us. At least I didn't find it. So it's just asking which presentation ID, and then gets information that we're going to use in the make an API call module, because what we need in the end is an image document, right? Like a JPEG or a PNG that serves Notion's page covers, right? So there's not an easy or free way I found to convert Google Slides or Google Docs into image files for some reason, but there's one thing we can use that is natively provided by Google Drive or Google Slides, which is their thumbnails. So these thumbnails are small pictures, kind of like previews of the presentation or the document that they're using for their overview sheets, I guess. So they are not big, they're just small, and maybe we also don't want to overload our Notion with big files. I found that these thumbnails have a very good size for my use case here, so I decided I'm just going to use those. And to get to the thumbnails, we need to make an API call. So don't be afraid of it. I'm going to walk you through it, and it's going to be super easy. So an API call here, where we're using the module make an API call, and the URL is like this. I might just put it on the screen here somehow so you can read it off, or pause the video if you need to. So the URL looks like this. We want presentations, and then we get the presentation ID again from the first Google Slides module, and the Slides object ID we get from the get a presentation module here. And at /thumbnail, the method is get, and everything else I think you can just leave blank, or as the module just standardly comes out. So save that. Next, I'm just deleting the previously created file because we don't need that anymore, just so we don't end up like cluttering up our Google Drive with unnecessary image files that we will no longer need. So just a little cleanup. And lastly, we want to update our Notion page. You're going to use the update a page module from Notion, and the page ID is provided by the webhook one more time, so we know which page to update. And the cover URL link is now provided from the API call module. Let's see it in action. I'm going to Notion here, and this make certification that I'm working on, I'm just going to change it because it triggers every time the name of the document is edited. The workflow runs. It's now creating the slide, makes the API call, so gets the thumbnail, deletes the file, updates Notion, and here we go. This is a quick and easy way to make your dashboards look a little bit more friendly and on brand, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. Of course, you can use this system also. Once you set it up, you can use that for in all kinds of ways. I believe many of you will be thinking first, or like, wait, I could actually trigger DALL-E or any AI image generator to create your Notion page cover. Of course you can. Actually, I tried that also. For me, it was a little bit overkill. It eats up your credits and is costly and takes a lot of time, and the results may vary. So for me, I thought I didn't need that, but if you're so inclined, of course, go ahead. But there's other things that I think this could be super useful for. For example, if you could set up different kinds of templates in different colors, for example, or with an image in the background, so that, for example, the cover changes according to the state of the project. Maybe it is overdue, or it has a certain project owner that can be signified here, or it is very urgent. So all of these kind of like states could be easily implemented here and have a visual representation. Or if you're using Notion also as your CRM, maybe you want to put your client logo here, and so all of this is possible. One more thing that I want to mention, which is pretty awesome. So this whole workflow is not limited to just one database. So if you set it up like I did, you can just use the same automation here and with the same webhook and put it in any kind of database you want. So it's going to also return a cover with this template, and it is super versatile because of that. All right, I hope this video was helpful for you, and now you can automate your covers to make your dashboards look a little bit more friendly. If it was helpful for you, please also help me out, like subscribe, comment, like, and all these kind of things that people are doing on YouTube. And if you want to work with me directly, I'm going to leave all of the information in the description also, and I'm also making sure that I'm leaving the blueprint for make.com down there, and maybe the template for Google Drive, for Google Slides. Let's see. Until then, hope you have a good one. See you in the next video. Bye bye.